Hello everybody, it's time for another ranking. Tonight we're going to do my top 15 80s horror movies. Why 80s? Because that's really when I started getting into horror, and to me the 80s was the best decade for horror movies. So, kicking us off is the movie that when I get asked what movie made you start really getting into horror movies, besides the Universal monster movies, this is the answer I give: The Serpent and the Rainbow, directed by Wes Craven and starring Bill Pullman. This movie deals with the practices of voodoo in Haiti, and I just love it. What can I say? It's cheesy, and the acting is not super, but like I said, it's one of the movies that got me interested in really good horror movies. Number 12, or number 13, or number 14, excuse me, is Phantasm 2. What can I say? The sequel was far better than the original. I got more stuff from the sequel to Phantasm than I did the original. I got more of the tall man. I got more of Reggie and Mike. And I kind of like the fact that it wasn't just in one little small town. That you realize the tall man's reach was ever growing. So therefore, I have to put Phantasm at number 14. Number 13 is I, Madman. A very underrated slasher. And Madman Mars, if he was given a movie today, could easily compete with the big three. Because his kills in I, Madman were phenomenal. So therefore, I, Madman goes to number 13 on my list. Number 12. And I can see people leaving my channel already, is The Shining. I know. Everybody thinks The Shining is a perfect movie. It's a good movie. It's probably one of Kubrick's best movies, but to me, not the greatest. So therefore, I have to put it lower on the list. Number 11. And again, if there's any subscribers left, you might want to cover your ears. Number 11 is Aliens. The return of Sigourney Weaver as Ripley. And then you add in Bill Paxton and Michael Bain in as Space Marines. Pretty great movie. And then you also got to throw in the fact that it was directed by James Cameron. So number 11 is Aliens. Number 10 is going to be Pet Sematary. And I know everybody's going to say, well, how can you pick Pet Sematary over Aliens? Here's why. 2 reasons. 1, I'm a sucker for Stephen King. 2, when you look at Dale Metcalf as Louis Creed, and he conveys such agony in that movie. And plus, you got Fred Gwynn, who played Herman Munster, as Judd. So that's, I love Pet Sematary. It's one of my favorite Stephen King movies and books. Number 9 is going to be An American Werewolf in London. What can I say? It's just, it has the best werewolf transformation done in history, done by Rick Baker. Need I say more? Number 8 is going to be Child's Play. And this is the first of 2 Chris Sarandon movies on this list. Child's Play, love Brad Dourif as Chucky, love Chris Sarandon as Detective Mike, like Alex Benson as Andy, and that was, again, another one of the slashers that really just opened my eyes to horror. Number 7 is Stephen King's Silver Bullet. Gary Busey, Corey Haim, werewolves. What can I say? It's just, I'm a sucker for cheesy werewolf movies, and this was the cheesiest. Number 6, Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. The final part in the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. Yeah, Corey Feldman in Friday the 13th, Part 4. Then you had whoever that guy was in Part 5, and then Tom Matthews in Part 6. And you kind of didn't really need Tommy Jarvis in Part 5. You could have just put anybody in that role and it would have worked. So therefore, Friday the 13th Part 6 is my number 6. Number 5, number 2 Chris Sarandon movie, it's gotta be Fright Night. There's nothing that I can say that hasn't been said already. Chris Sarandon plays Jerry Dandridge. He moves in next to William Ragsdale's Charlie. And at first after Charlie catches on to him, he's like, okay, you know what? You caught me, but I'm going to give you a choice. Either you can forget about me, or I'm going to fuck up your world. And when Charlie doesn't heed the warning, it's game on. So, number 5 is Fright Night. Number 4 is A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. Damn near a flawless movie to me. You had the return of Nancy Thompson, Patricia Arquette leading a new crop of Elm Street kids, and quite possibly the best Freddy that we ever got in the series. So again, Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors is my number 4. Number 3 is another John Carpenter. It is the first John Carpenter movie, and that is Christine. Again, I'm a sucker for Stephen King, and you have John Carpenter directing Christine, and it's just the ultimate in creepy vehicle horror movies. Number 2, top 2. And I always say these two movies always battle for my number 1. And this depends on which day you catch me on. Number 2 is The Thing. Kurt Russell, Keith David, who was the voice of Spawn in the HBO animated series, and who came back to do voice Spawn in Mortal Kombat 11. And then you got an enclosed area with an alien that can look like anybody. Almost perfect. Number 1, and this should be no surprise, because anybody who knows me, I've said it 1,000 times. Number 1 is The Lost Boys. To me, it was the perfect 80's movie. It had Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patrick, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Jasmine Guy, Jimmy Gertz is star. What more could you want from an 80's horror movie? The vampires were cool. The good guys were funny. You know, it had slapstick. It had everything you could ask for. And that is my top 15, people. And as always, stay safe. And I will be seeing you next time around.